And we are live. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi, everyone who's joining us today. While we're waiting, my name is Sasha, and I think we can start like with a little warm up or just um, to see who's joining us here today. And you can type where you're joining us from in the comment section here in YouTube, and just put a plus or minus or maybe a few words about your experience with WordPress. Like, have you had it before, or maybe you even have your own site on the WordPress already? So yeah, just type in the comments where you're from, where you're joining us or watching us right now, and have you had the previous experience with WordPress before? I think that we'll need like a few minutes to wait for others, but I think that you're joining already. Let's talk to our speakers. Like, how are you? How are you feeling today? We have Alisa and Oleg, but I'll say a few words about them probably a little bit later. But just for now, while we're waiting, how are you guys?
Hey, I'm Alisa. Um, a bit nervous, but really excited. So, waiting for everyone to join, and we'll be happy to start.
Yeah, we
Great.
are we are collected. I think good insights for you all guys. So I hope it will be interesting for you.
Oh yeah, it will. I heard the selection before, so I can reassure you that it will. And I see actually that we have like the majority of you has joined already, so I think we can officially start, like move on to the starting. Oh, hi, it's really nice to meet you too. I see in the comments. Um, okay, let's wait a few minutes more. Who's already joined us? Like, write in the comments where you're watching us from today. So, and have you ever had a previous experience with WordPress before? And while you're typing, I think I can say a few words about this webinar. So this webinar is organized by Beetroot. Yeah, and for the next hour, we will be discussing WordPress maintenance, how to keep your site running smoothly, all the essential practices for keeping WordPress site in a better condition. So maybe the balance between cost, the balance between performance and maintenance, and more about that will tell us our beautiful speakers. So I think we can officially proceed to them. But before that, just a quick reminder. So for this webinar to be like the more productive, please be active, write your questions in the comment section, participate with the speakers and engage fully. And stay tuned because after the webinar itself, we have a little gift prepared for you, a little surprise maybe. So yeah, stay tuned, be active, and have a great time. Without further ado, I think I can give the mic to our beautiful speakers. It's Alisa and Oleg, and so yes, guys, the mic is yours.
Hi, everyone. Happy to see that so many people joined. I think let's start with formal introductions because you're going to be stuck with us for the next 40 or so minutes. Sasha already introduced us. As you know, my name is Alisa, and I'm a coordinator for our WordPress unit here in Beetroot. And I also have Oleg joining me today, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. I am Oleg, as Alyssa said, and I am one of the tech leads in our WordPress unit.
Well, I'm not sure how many of you are actually familiar with Beetroot, so I'd ask you to put a quick plus in the chat just to let us know whether you've heard of us before. Let's see. I really hope that some of you are. Otherwise, it might be a bit unfortunate. Yay, there we go. So I see that quite a few people are actually familiar with us, but for those of you who aren't, Beetroot is a Swedish company with R&D offices in Eastern Europe. That's Ukraine, Poland, and Bulgaria. And in general, we offer a wide range of services and technologies, but one of them is our standalone WordPress unit. So that's us, as you have probably guessed. And we've been building custom WordPress sites for 10 years now. And within that time, we managed to grow to a whooping team of 60 developers. So what we like to often say about us, WordPress is in our DNA. Well, hopefully that gives you a bit of information about who we are and what we're actually doing here. And I'll ask Oleg to move on to the agenda and tell us a little bit more about what we want to talk about to you today.
Yes, since it's such a big part of our lives, we wanted to share some our experience and talk to you a bit about WordPress maintenance. In particular, why it's crucial to take care of your site continuously and why it can be dangerous to overlook it. Next, what goes into developing different maintenance packages to meet different needs, and about our own journey to offering maintenance packages to our clients.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Oleg. And let's move on. So first, as Oleg mentioned, the first thing on our agenda, we wanted to discuss why properly maintaining your site, or for that matter, not maintaining it, is crucial for the performance, security, and overall state and health of your website. So, you know, we often get asked by clients, why do I need maintenance if my site is running fine just as is? Well, that's exactly why we're here. We wanted to tell you a little bit about the behind the scenes work that goes into making sure that your WordPress website actually runs smoothly. So, Oleg, from your experience, what do you think are the most common maintenance issues that website owners tend to overlook?
Well, Alisa, I'd say it's definitely poor performance. One of the main reasons to regularly maintain your website is to ensure it performs at its best. Imagine if your site takes too long to load, users will click away and search engines will penalize you in rankings. And now, quick question for all of you. Have you ever left a website just because it took too long to load? If so, let us know in the chat, please.
Okay, there you go. I see that some of you definitely had that before. And I wanted to mention that we're all quite spoiled with quick access to information nowadays. We don't have any patience for waiting. Like, you know, if it's not on the first page of Google, basically it doesn't exist. So unless your website offers an absolutely unique or rare information that users cannot find literally anywhere else, no one's going to wait for it to load and they're just going to move on to the next one. And the result is no matter how much you put into marketing, if your site is taking forever to load, you're going to lose quite a lot of potential clients. Well, talking about the technical side of it, Oleg, what actually causes those slowdowns?
Well, over time, your website's database gets cluttered with unnecessary data, and it's okay. Like old revisions or even just junk records from third-party plugins. And if we don't clean up it regularly, it can drastically slow down your website.
Yeah, by the way, it's not just about the human patients. Search engines do not have a lot of patience as well, and they really do care about how fast your site loads. So if you're not regularly maintaining your website and it affects the performance, as the end result, it's going to hurt your SEO rankings and you're going to lose a lot of visibility online. So that brings us back to losing potential clients again.
You're right. Performance-wise, one thing we always emphasize, which is so simple yet often overlooked, is image optimization. User-uploaded images, for example, can really blow the site if they are not resized, compressed, or properly formatted. Something simple, optimizing images can have a dramatic effects on page load times. For example, I have such a case from our recent practice. One of our clients reported that their website frequently crashed. Uh, Upon investigation, we discovered that over 50 additional image sizes has been added in the site theme. This resulted in the server processing the main image and then converting it into those 50 additional sizes. Since image processing is a resource-intensive task, even a powerful server struggled to handle this when multiple images were uploaded simultaneously. And the solution, we just reduced the number of image sizes to a minimum and optimize their usage on the front end. This approach significantly decreased server load and resolved the downtime issues. That being said, performance is only one side of it. Alisa, what else is there?
Well, there's of course the question of security, and personally, I think that's probably the most important part of keeping your site well maintained. Um, I'm finding real hard to avoid the if I had a dollar joke for every time someone asked me about WordPress and security and brought up their concerns. And what I always tell the people who ask me that is that a lot of it is actually in your own hands. If you want your website to be secure, you need to make sure that it's constantly updated. Oleg, why is that important?
So WordPress, as you know, is an open source platform, which means that both the core system and all its plugins and themes are regularly updated. These updates often patch vulnerabilities that could be exploited by hackers. So neglecting updates can leave your site exposed. And frankly speaking, this is thin ice. Don't ignore it.
All right, so let's up the stakes a little bit and see who's brave enough to be honest with us in the comments. How many of you have actually seen those updates available, notifications in the dashboard, and chose to ignore them? Okay, there we go. Nothing to be ashamed of, kind of. Don't worry, you're definitely not alone here. Happens to the best of us. But those updates are actually there for a reason and for quite a serious reason. And I'll let Talia take over the technical talk again and tell you a bit more why is that like that.
So the outdated software is the most common entry point for attackers. That's why we can't ignore them. Hackers target known vulnerabilities in older version of plugins, themes, or even WordPress core. Uh, Regular updates are like locking your door at night. You wouldn't leave them open, right?
I usually try not to, but even if you take all of the necessary precautions, you cannot really guarantee that nothing bad ever happens. Obviously, we always try to minimize our risks and we try to avoid issues as much as possible, but we still get health insurance or property insurance to cover us in case something actually does go wrong. So there is an insurance, kind of an insurance for the websites as well. And that would be regular backups. So regular backups ensure that should something actually go wrong, you have a quick way to bounce back from that. You have a safety net. So whether it's a hack, whether it's a server failure, or you just accidentally delete something, you have a really quick way to restore everything.
Yep, we always recommend routine backups. You hope you'll never need it, but when you do, it saves you from serious downtimes and potential data loss. If the site goes down and is restored from a recent backup quickly and basically with one click, it's unpleasant but not critical. Otherwise, you can end up with a huge problem on your hands.
Yeah, we actually had a case which gives quite a good picture. Well, maybe good is not the best choice of the words here. Let's say a colorful picture of what can happen if you really neglect maintaining your site. We had a client approach us at some point with a really outdated website. And by outdated, I mean like not updated at all for like 5 years. And they just wanted some development tasks. We were obviously concerned about the state of the website and we brought it up, but unfortunately, they did not want to act upon it. So we understood that it was basically a ticking time bomb, but there wasn't much we could do without the client's approval to go ahead and perform the updates. So you can probably guess what happened next. Sometime later, the site actually went down. And at that point, we couldn't really restore it quickly or make sure that we perform the updates and get it back up and running because at that point we needed to do major version updates and a lot of code was incompatible with the new updates. So we had to put a lot of time and put a lot of work into actually getting it back to the working state. Speaking about backups, the client did not have any backups on their side. So the only solution we had at that point, we were just able to take an old version that we still had on our staging and use it temporarily. So obviously the client lost a lot of content. The site was down for quite some time. It obviously cost them a significant amount of money to get the site back to the adequate state. And honestly, it was stressful for them. It was extremely stressful for us as well. And I don't think either of us actually enjoyed that. I'm sure Oleg was the one who was helping me deal with that situation. So I'm pretty sure he remembers it well.
Yeah, sure, I do. I guess this is a good moment to move on to the consequences of not maintaining your site. Websites without proper maintenance become cluttered with unnecessary files, data in database, and of course, outdated code. Eventually, this leads to slower page loads and no one like a slow site, right, Alisa?
Yep. As I've mentioned before, we don't. And the second part of it is security, as I've said. So the more outdated your website is, the more at risk you are for hacks. Hackers absolutely love outdated plugins, and that's how you can get a malware infection, which could actually result in your website being blacklisted by search engines. In my personal experience, there has been a situation more than once in my life when I clicked on a link on a random website and it took me to an really weird page, which had nothing to do with what that website was actually about. And Something like that can have you lose the image for your clients, and it makes you look unprofessional. It makes you look not pulled together. And at the end of the day, this is something that could have been avoided quite easily. So, quick question for all of you. Have anyone ever come across compromised websites like that with weird links linking to really weird places? Okay, I don't see any reactions in the chat right now. So, oh, there we go. So I think it happened to some of you, and I'm definitely not going to ask you where these links actually took you. I think everyone understands, but no one wants to know. But that's not all. There is more that comes with poor maintenance. Oleg, what else can happen?
What else can happen? If that's not bad enough, outdated plugins or themes can cause broken functionality. You could wake up one day and find that part of your website or even whole pages have stopped working because something become incompatible with the latest WordPress version. We face that kind of issues a lot of times.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have seen that more than once when something small ends up snowballing into quite a large issue, which is expensive and time-consuming to fix. So I tend to say that in cases like that, you cannot rely on being reactive and resolving the issues once they arise. Well, basically you can, but most likely you're not going to enjoy it a lot. What you need here for, let's say, the success of your website, you need to be proactive. So you need to make sure that you resolve the issues before they actually become the issues. The problem here, however, is that something like that really requires discipline. You need to be on top of that. You need to keep good track of it. And a lot of times we'll know we always have some higher priorities and we never get to actually do that. Well, in my experience, the best solution for something like that is to set up a planned, scheduled routine maintenance flow that you simply have to stick to on schedule. Oleg, can you tell us a bit how having this scheduled flow can help you?
Yeah, when you have a plan in place, you are resolving issues before they even become problems. It's like regularly servicing your car. You're preventing costly repairs down the road. By the way, Lisa, I remember that you have a wonderful adventure with your car. Have you already fixed your engine? Or maybe you are looking for a new car?
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a low blow, but to give you a bit of context, I can be a perfect anti-example here. I am absolutely horrible at servicing my car. Uh, Basically, I take the approach, if it's not yet broken, just don't touch it, just let it be. And as you can imagine, it's not working. If you think that I'm joking, I actually ended up selling my car. So that was the end of that story. But that's a good illustration that regular checks can actually help you avoid or catch small issues before they become really big problems. So if talking not about cars, but in our case, a website, whether it's a plugin conflict or a security vulnerability, you can catch it quickly and make sure that you have a better user experience, a fast, secure, fully functional website. And of course, both with websites and the car, there is the money part to that as well.
Definitely. Let's not forget about cost efficiency. A lot of people thinks maintenance is just another expense, but in reality, investing in regular upkeep can save you from major repairs or even a full site rebuild in the long run.
Yeah, it may seem that you're saving money by not spending them on regular maintenance costs, but in reality, and from what we've seen from our personal experience, a lot of times you're gonna end up being hit by a much larger and at that point unexpected expense instead of a smaller and planned maintenance cost that you can basically work into your budget.
Plus, it spreads out the workload. You won't have to rush for emergency fixes, which are usually more expensive and more stressful.
Yeah, well, you had me at stressful. There are two types of people, those who want to just ride the wave and solve everything as it happens, and those who need to minimize the risks and plan out every twist and turn. And everyone who knows me is definitely going to say that I'm the latter. So for me, a lot of it is about the peace of mind and knowing that I've done everything to avoid the issues that I'm now facing with. Uh, so I wanted to sum up and give you an idea of what we try to convey here. Um, the main point is, I think it's important to understand that keeping your site well maintained is not just a nice to have, but it's actually essential for the security, the performance of your website, and not so obviously the long-term costs and long-term savings. So if you are serious about your website, I'd say a routine maintenance plan is absolutely a must to have.
Totally agree. For those of you who don't have yet one, now is the time to start thinking about it.
Okay, so let's see what the next slide is. There we go. So let's say we convinced you and you decided to actually move forward with scheduled maintenance. So how do you decide what should actually go into that maintenance package if you want to offer it to your clients, for example? Or if you're a site owner and you want to sign up for a maintenance plan, how do you understand that that maintenance plan that you're looking at actually has what you really need? Obviously, this is something that our team had to discuss quite actively when we were starting this journey. And there was a lot of thought that we put into it. So, Oleg, can you tell us what do you think is the first key consideration that we took when putting those together?
Well, first you have to start with what the website actually needs. Before you can decide what services need to be included, you need to understand what the most common problem are. In our case, we gathered insight directly from our clients over the years, and it's important to know what they value most in terms of maintenance and what they struggled with more often. Working with so many clients and so many projects over the year, we formed a clear picture of what is often missed in maintaining their websites and what leads to issues. So, what's next?
Yeah, so as Alec mentioned, we started with identifying the actual pool of services that we thought were important to include. The next step for us was identifying basically the core services and what we call add-ons. Basically, to make it more clear, it's the must-haves and the nice-to-haves. And Oleg being our tech guru, I'm passing the ball back to him.
Well, the core services are non-negotiable. These are things like regular WordPress updates, backups, and uptime monitoring. But then you can offer additional services as add-ons. think of things like advanced performance monitoring, custom development, or even QA testing?
Right. So for me, as a non-technical person, and hopefully that's going to be helpful for the non-technical people on this call, I kind of see it as making a pizza. So to actually make a pizza from scratch, you need the dough, you need the sauce, and you need the cheese. That's the base of your pizza. You must have it if you want to be able to call it a pizza. But then you have the option to add different toppings. So like pepperoni, extra cheese, mushrooms, and whatnot. And here it gets interesting because not everyone wants or needs all of the toppings. So for example, some people don't eat mushrooms, or some people prefer pineapple on their pizza, which I personally disagree with, but I guess tastes differ, but I still do disagree. So my point is there is no one-fits-all solution, and this is something that we also took into consideration. We wanted to make sure to offer this flexibility because not every client needs the same things. And for that matter, not every client has the same budget. So at the core of our packages, we wanted to make sure to be able to give it the right balance. Oleg, what else did we consider?
I really like your parallel with pizza, because we always trust Italians when it comes to preparing pizza. They definitely know how to make it properly. So another consideration is, of course, staying in line with the industry best practice. Clients need to trust that you are following what's proven to work. We have to stay on top of WordPress maintenance standards so our client feel confident that their websites are in good hands. After all, we are the WordPress experts, so it's our job to ensure we provide advice on how to get the most and the best out of your website. And it shouldn't be your or your client's responsibility to know all the technical aspects of it. Sometimes clients don't know what they need until we tell them. For example, a client might not realize that they need security monitoring for every single plugin they've installed. That's where we come in with recommendation based on industry trends.
Okay, so from your personal experience, what do you think is one best practice that you can single out, which clients usually tend to overlook?
It's definitely the importance of keeping both core or and third-party plugins up to date. It's not just about hitting the update button on WordPress. It's about checking every plugin, every dependency, making sure that nothing falls through the cracks. Neglect that, and you are open to serious risk. Yeah, that was the technical side of maintenance, and now Alisa will talk a bit about money.
I don't know why I'm always the one who has to talk about money, but I don't think I have a choice here anymore. So we have identified what we wanted to go into the packages. And the next step was to understand how should we price them to make it cost effective. So for us, we focused on balancing cost, value, and necessity, because at the end of the day, everything has to be about offering value. So we know that clients often don't realize the true cost of not maintaining their websites. So we always try to make sure to explain how regular maintenance can actually save them money in the long run by avoiding unexpected downtime, by avoiding emergency fixes, or let's say hacks, for example. So we understand that the pricing can be a bit tricky with maintenance because it might feel a bit counterintuitive to pay to ensure that something doesn't happen versus actually fixing the issue where you have the clear pattern of a present issue, a fix, and then a result. But think of it like maintaining your home. So you pay for small repairs, you clean the gutters, you invest a bit into that, but that helps you avoid bigger issues like water damage or structural damage, which will end up costing you an arm and a leg. Talking about actual cases, we approach each case separately, and we analyze the needed effort for each website. We take into account its complexity. We take into account the current state the website's in, and based on that, we basically make our own evaluation. At the same time, we don't need to overwhelm our clients with something that they really don't need. So we try to focus on essentials, and we try to make sure that every single service that we add into this package is actually something that they really need. Am I forgetting anything?
Yeah, we mentioned flexibility earlier, but I actually wanted to come back to it. Here, I think flexibility also goes hand in hand with scalability. Clients need to know that as their business grows, their website won't be left behind, and the maintenance flow can grow accordingly. Think about an e-commerce website versus a simple blog. An e-commerce website with tons of products and traffic needs more frequent backups and security checks. It's crucial that the packages can grow with the client, and we can offer more advanced option as the business grows, which brings us to customization. We can't forget that every business is different. Some clients are more tech savvy and they just want the basics. Other needs hands-on help with everything. That's why we decided to go with layered packages. Start with the basics and add a couple of more extended options.
Okay, thanks, Oleg. So let me sum up what we've discussed here in the second block and give you, let's say, the recipe for a perfect maintenance package based on our own experience. We wanted to ensure that there are three things that go into this. First, it's understanding the actual needs of the clients. Secondly, making sure that we can find that right balance between the services. And last, but definitely not the least, we need to make sure that it can actually grow together with our client, their business, and their website. So what's next? Well, there we go. I'm not doing well with the slides today. So let's talk about why we actually decided to offer maintenance services in the first place. Well, as you know, from the beginning of the webinar, we've been building WordPress websites for years, and something that we kept seeing was kind of a recurrent pattern. So in a lot of cases, either maintenance was completely neglected or it was done quite inconsistently. So a lot of times we would have clients reach out to us in panic because the site went down or it was extremely slow or something just all of a sudden was broken or hacked and whatnot. But then, of course, the issues were much harder to resolve and way more urgent, way more expensive. So for us as client-facing people, we realized that there is something we really need to do about that. So we went to our tech team and asked them to come up with a solution for us. Oleg, what did you guys tell us?
Yeah, and we knew that rather than waiting for something to break and fix it in rush, there was a need for proactive care, keeping things running smoothly in the first place. we were getting requests from clients asking if we could take care of their website maintenance regularly. While we used to do it ad hoc, it became clearer and clearer that site owners didn't want to deal with keeping track of updates, backups, plugin conflicts, security patches, and in many cases, didn't have enough technical knowledge to know what needs to be done, which is totally all right. You're not supposed to have in-depth technical knowledge if it's not your area of expertise. They just wanted to focus on their business and their work without worrying about the technical side, right?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it does take a lot of stress off of everyone. So for the site owners, they know that what needs to be done is actually done, and they simply don't have to worry about that. But it's beneficial for us as well, because in this case, we can actually plan our resources. We can make sure that the site is taken care of and not be the ones who have to rush in for urgent fixes, all of these emergency, critical, like fix it yesterday. So with all that being said, we obviously came up with the packages. And let me tell you a bit more about how we envisioned the optimal structure for that, with the idea that we wanted to cover everything from the very basics to the full site care. So as a result, we came up with 3 different packages, and I'm going to show them to you right here on the slides. So as you can see, there are 3 of them, and the first one is the basics package. We can go back to the pizza metaphor we used before. Basically, that's your pizza base: the dough, the cheese, and the sauce. So it includes the essentials, essential updates, monthly backups. So absolute must-haves for pretty much any WordPress site. So for smaller informational sites, this could be basically all that you need to ensure that everything's running smoothly. For bigger or more complex websites, but on a tight budget, that would still be quite beneficial. Ideally, would more complex websites need more proactive care? I would say most definitely yes. But, well, we know that budgets can be quite constraining, and having consistent, even if basic maintenance, will already save you a lot of stress in the long run. So as we mentioned earlier, we wanted to make sure that those packages are layered, and the idea is that each following package offers the services from the previous ones and something extra. So Alia, can you tell us about the second package?
Yes, so we have the extended package, which also include performance optimization, security, and error monitoring, more frequent updates, and Git storage. This goes a few steps further than the basic and will work well for more complex sites with functionality beyond an info site, large content volume, WooCommerce, where you have a lot of plugins, sites with third-party integration, and so on. And understandably, the more elements which could break, the higher chances that something occasionally will break.
Thanks, Ilyak. So we have the third package left, and I would say it offers the most comprehensive care and the most comprehensive coverage. Internally, while we were developing them, we called it maintenance and improvements because it made most sense to us. And of course, it includes everything from the previous packages, but additionally offers performance audits, critical task priority support, basically priority troubleshooting, QA rounds, content updates, or additional custom development, for example. And I would say that this one is ideal for those site owners who not only want to maintain their website as is, but also to ensure that it's continuously growing and improving. You may have gathered this from the maintenance and improvements in the name, but unfortunately, the marketing team decided to rename it for the presentation. Well, I think that's it about the plans that we came up with. So I'll ask Oleg to kind of sum up this part of the conversation.
Yeah, sure, Alisa. So to sum up everything, uh, our journey started because we wanted to help our clients avoid those big, expensive issues before they happened. We hope that everyone can find something that works for their needs, whether they're running a small blog or a high traffic e-commerce website. We wanted to make maintenance simple and stress-free so our client could focus on what they do best. We hope that each one of you found something insightful today or could better structure what you already had in mind.
Thanks, Oleg. I promise that I'm gonna give you the opportunity to give the summary, but I love summaries, so I'm gonna jump in as well. I wanted to say that we'll be happy to talk to you if you're looking for our help in managing your website, but we would also be glad if our own journey and our experience helps you either set up your own maintenance flow for your website or come up with your own process to offer to your clients. And looking at the timing, I think we need to be wrapping up. So let's move on to your questions. Please go ahead, share them in the chat, and Oleg and I will try to answer to the best of our abilities.
Thank you guys. Thank you for this lecture. It was like insightful, fun, and engaging as well. And yeah, we actually had a few questions while you were talking. So I think I'm just gonna read them out loud. So jumping in with a question regarding routine backups, how often should I check my site's backups? Are there automated services that can handle this?
Yeah, Kelly, so I think it's technical
Yeah,
questions.
I'm
So
not
I
even trying. I'm
can
not even trying to
I
jump
can
in.
answer. So at first, if your backups set up properly, you don't need to check it because it should work automatically. Depending of amount of content on your website, you should set up your backups that way. So you, in case of problem, you should have the several daily backups, several weekly backups, and several monthly backups. So in any time you can roll up your website to the point when your website works properly. And second, you should keep your backups not only in one place. You always should have several places when your backups will be uploaded. It can be the first place. It can be the same server when you're storing your website, and second place should be the fully separated server, like some kind of cloud service or separated FTP server. Doesn't matter, but it should be separated. That way, your website will be safe, even if your primarily server will totally crash.
Thank you, Oleg. Okay, moving on to the next question. So it's guys for you. So do you have some best practice for a huge number of website maintenance, like tools for automation of that process?
I think there is no all-in-one tool for maintaining a WordPress website, because the proper maintaining should contain a lot of steps, including backups, checking logs, checking third-party plugins vulnerabilities, checking dependency from which this plugins built it with vulnerabilities. So actually the answer, there is no all-in-one tool. You should collect that tools that you know how to work with it, and like prepare your own bicycle to do it as easy as it can be.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Oleg. Okay, guys. So yeah, just a reminder, you can write your questions to the comment section. And I see one more question. I'm not sure I'm gonna read it correctly, but I'm currently using a VPN engine. Are there other options that are more cost efficient, but that still offer the same level of automation?
Let me probably jump in on this one. Most of our clients, and in general, a lot of websites, as you know, are hosted on WP Engine, and for us as well, it's probably the most primary hosting for a number of reasons. Now, a lot of clients have a similar question, and at the moment, we're actively researching quite a number of other hosting platforms to see what would be the most convenient match, or either a solution to move to. So I would, at this point, I'm not sure we're confident enough to basically advertise something else. But if you reach out to us via the email that we're going to share later, we can definitely come back to that discussion.
Thank you, Alisa. Okay, we have not a lot of time left, so keep up with the questions. I think that's going to be like one of the latest. But what advice do you have for agencies that want to offer maintenance services but are unsure of how to package or price them?
Okay, I'm gonna take this one as well, probably. So it's quite similar to what we had to deal with on our own journey. And I would say first you need to focus on the most common issues, most common struggles. So you see that, you know, the site keeps breaking basically in the same place for the same reason, and you need to focus on that. You need to do the proper research to ensure that you're not missing anything that's basically not that obvious, but it has to be done. And I would say for pricing, first make sure to analyze the effort that you actually need to cover the services that you're about to offer, just to know how much time that actually going to take you. I would say focus on the process a bit there as well, just to understand how much you can automate it, how much more efficient you can make it. And I would say always throw in some competitor research. It's always a good idea just to get the understanding of what's out there in the market, whether you're competitive, basically whether you're actually offering value to your clients. And the last, but I think the most important, is you have to actually start. And once you do, you have to test it out. Because once you test it out once or twice, you're going to see what doesn't work Exactly right. So whether it's pricing, whether it's the services you offer, you're going to be able to tailor that package sometime down the road. And I think it's completely okay to do that.
Thank you, Alisa. And I think that's going to be our last question for today. And I can assume that it's regarding the previous question, Oleg, for you. So, what about underestimating the problem? You have this plus plan when you pay $640 per quarter, but for example, fixing security problem is really time consuming and will not cover this budget.
Yeah, I think it's question to me. So yeah, you're right. It's always not clear how many times you need to fix some kind of these problems, and in that way, we include in this package the investigation of problems, and if then we can find the reason of this problem, and we'll have more context and more information what should be done to fix this issue. Then we come back to clients with a clear picture of this issue and provide a solution how we can fix it fast and cheap, or maybe a little bit more expensive, but with a long-term perspective.
Great, thank you. Okay, our time is already up. So thank you, Alisa. Thank you, Oleg, for this insightful conversation today. And thank you for those who've been with us today. And don't worry, for those who are registered to this webinar, you'll receive a follow-up email with this promo code as well. And of course, feel free to write your questions to us, to follow us on social media, to follow for the new insightful webinars in the future. So thank you again for being with us today. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and being active. And I think we are close to the official ending of today's webinar, and I'm gonna send a round of applause to our speakers one more time. It's still worth it. So yeah, Alisa, thank you. And all of you who are watching us right now, thank you for being with us. And have a nice day, have a nice evening, and I think it's goodbye.